I almost spat out my coffee this morning. A well-known analyst said that XRP could hit $27. Now, I rolled my eyes at first until I saw the chart that left me speechless. Now, yeah, you heard that right, $27 for one XRP. Now, as an XRP holder who's watched the price slump for days, hearing 27 kind of felt like a cruel joke, right? We just went through 6 straight days of red candles, something that we hadn't seen, or at least happen, all year long. Now, my portfolio was bleeding, sentiment was in the gutter, and I was this close to kind of just panic selling. So when I saw someone casually predicting a 10x price explosion, I thought, here we go again with the hopium. But I couldn't just scroll on past that. Curiosity got the better of me. So what did I miss? Why in the world would someone call for $27 now, of all times? So I dug in, and it turns out that the prediction came from a market analyst who goes by the name of 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗱. Now, if you lurk around XRP Twitter or Reddit, you might have heard of him. He's known for his deep dive chart analysis and occasionally some pretty bold calls. This time, 𝗗𝗗𝗀 did something clever, or cheeky, depending on how you want to see it. A few days ago, he tweeted about an impending XRP price crash, and everyone's jaw dropped for just a second. A crash now. But here is the kicker. He'd actually flipped the price chart upside down. Yep, an inverted chart. So that so-called crash was actually really just tongue-in-cheek way of predicting a pump. Basically, he was teasing that the XRP token could skyrocket, not collapse. And I actually had to double check the calendar to make sure that it wasn't some kind of April Fool's joke. Now, it wasn't, of course. The guy was serious in his own little quirky way. Now, after that kind of mic drop joke, 𝗗𝗗𝗀 followed it up with a more detailed analysis. He shared a chart, the normal, non-inverted kind this time, mapping out XRP's price action, at least over the past several years. And let me tell you, it was like looking at a treasure map for kind of XRP's history. The highlighted, at least he highlighted, a consolidation channel that XRP has been stuck in for what felt like forever. So think of this from the kind of mid-2022s to late 2024. XRP was basically just bouncing around the same kind of hallway with a floor around 30 cents and a ceiling at around 70 cents. Now I'm talking post-Terra collapse era, right? Remember when the whole market kind of tanked in 2022. XRP plunged to around 50 cents, during the chaos and then just ranged sideways for ages. It was as if XRP was trapped in a long, dreary kind of winter, pacing it between those two price points and price levels for a good year and a half. Then came November 2024. Finally, XRP broke out of that range. Like a bat out of hell. It was like that coiled spring energy let loose at once. The price blasted off, and by January of 2025, we hit a peak of around $3.40. Can you imagine that? After languishingly kind of under $1 for such a long time, seeing XRP above $3 again was absolutely wild. Now, I was euphoric. I mean, we basically 10x'd from the lows of that consolidation channel. Now, of course, nothing goes up in a straight line, does it? So after January's highs, XRP took a breather. It retraced, it cooled off, whatever you want to call it. Basically, people took profits and the hype simmered down. We dipped and we consolidated for lower levels for a while. We even had another rally to around $3.66 in July of 2025, which briefly made us think, hey, we are gearing up for another blast-off. But then the last few weeks happened, and we slid back down to the mid-$2 range, giving up all of those psychological zones like $3, $2.90, $2.80, one by one. Now this brings us back to 𝗗𝗗𝗀's thesis then. According to him, despite all of these ups and these downs, XRP is still in a consolidation phase, right? Just a higher one than we had seen before. Now on his chart, he drew this channel. It had blue and white trend lines on it, right? And basically just showed that XRP is still trading in a kind of zone, gathering energy for the next big move. Now in simple terms, we're basically in the calm before the storm. And he thinks that the next storm is going to be a hurricane for the record books. Now, 𝗗𝗂𝘀 called it consolidation before the next big move. All caps, no less. So what's the big move then? Here's where that $27 comes in. Now, he laid out a series of targets. The first big hurdle, he says, is around $3.60, essentially the recent peak and the resistance, and key resistance at that. Now, if XRP can break above $3.60 and actually hold it, well, that would be like leveling up to the next stage. Now, at that point, his analysis points to around $7 as the next target. $7. Now, that would be uncharted territory, a new all-time high, and roughly a 157% gain from where we are right now. Insane, right? But he doesn't stop there. 𝗗𝗀𝘀's chart had two more target lines beyond $7. And the highest one was sitting at $27. I'll say that again, $27. Now, for context, if you're going to be or doing the kind of math here, that's almost a 10x from the current price in early September 2025. Now, when I saw that, I thought to myself, okay, this dude, is he pulling our leg or has he gone off the deep end? $27 is an enormous number for XRP. It would put XRP's market cap in the trillions, making it one of the most valuable assets on the planet. So naturally, my BS sensors went off. I've been in crypto, it's the crypto long game long enough, I should say, to know that outlandish price targets are often at least a dime a dozen, right? And I mean, anyone remember the notorious $589 XRP prediction that was flying around a few years back? Yeah, that was a thing, and people genuinely thought that XRP would magically hit $589 by the end of 2018. Spoiler alert, it didn't. So yeah, I'm wired to be skeptical of, moon boy stuff like this. But here is the thing. 𝗗𝗀𝘀 isn't some random moon boy shouting into the void, is he? He's backing it up with historical data and technical patterns. So that got me thinking, what if this isn't pure hopium then? What if there's actually a real method to the madness? So I started to recall how the crypto market can surprise us. For instance, back in 2017, XRP was worth fractions of a penny, and most people would have kind of laughed in your face if you said that it would hit $3 plus, at least in a few months. But it did, didn't it? And crypto has a way of kind of making the impossible happen, sometimes anyway at least. And a 10x move isn't unprecedented either. So while $27 may feel ridiculously high, I can't say that it's flat out impossible given the right catalysts, right? It's kind of like hearing your hometown underdog team might actually win the championship. Part of you doubts it, but part of you imagines the celebration. Now, to kind of bolster my curiosity's kind of growing optimism here, another analyst kind of chimed in with a shorter term kind of point of view. This guy goes by the name of Crypto Insight UK, and he pointed out something on the XRP BTC chart. On a 4-hour chart, XRP had pulled back to a significant support zone against BTC. This was notable because the same level used to be a stubborn resistance, at least in the past, and now it's being tested as support. So at the same time, an indicator called the RSI, Relative Strength Index, was also showing that XRP was oversold on that time frame, meaning that people have been selling so much that it might actually be due for a bounce now, like a rubber band stretching just too far. Now, Crypto Insight UK basically said, look, this may not be the guaranteed bottom, but the case for a rebound remains strong. In other words, he sees a solid case that XRP is bottoming out right now, at least in the short term. That was music to my ears, a possible short-term bounce lining up with 𝗗𝗀𝘀's big picture. Yes, please. So here I am, caught between the skepticism and the excitement. On one hand, 6 red days in a row had me feeling like the sky was falling, right? And on the other hand, these analysts are painting a picture of a massive comeback. The emotional whiplash is real. So you know what this calls for then. This is a good old-fashioned reality check. Now this might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All right, deep breath. Now that we've kind of got the obligatory but super important disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about what I'm actually doing with all of this information, because hearing XRP to $27 and actually navigating that as an investor are two very different things. So, am I selling, buying, or just holding tight? Well, I'll tell you. I haven't sold a single XRP during this recent dip. Not one, right? Trust me here. I was tempted for a minute where there were, well, at least when there were things kind of looked really bleak, right? The thought flashed across my head. Maybe I should cut my losses. This rally might be done, but I didn't. And a big reason is hope. Not blind hope, but informed hope, right? The analysis from eGrag and from others, they gave me pause. Instead of panic selling, I found myself considering the opposite, buying more. Crazy, right? But the old saying is, buy when there is blood in the streets. Now, it popped into my head, and this is truly is just a, if this truly is just a consolidation before the big move, then these are sub $3 prices might actually end up looking like Black Friday sales in hindsight. Now, I'm not going to go all in or mortgaging my house to buy more XRP. I'm optimistic, but I'm not insane. I'm just sticking to my plan. I'll buy a little on the dips. I will secure my XRP safely, and I don't invest more than I can afford to lose. Now, if you're trading or thinking of accumulating too, make sure that you have a plan and use a reliable platform. Personally, I've been using Blowfin for some of my trades recently. It's been working well for me, and full transparency, I do have an affiliate link for Blowfin in the description down below. If using that by signing up and trading on it, that actually supports the channel here. So big thank you if you do go ahead and do it. And of course, it costs you nothing extra by doing so. Now, same deal with BitGet. I have an affiliate link for that exchange as well. And if you're looking for alternatives, both of these, they are solid options and I trust them with my own funds. But of course, use whatever platform that you are comfortable with. Just make sure that it's reputable and secure. Another thing that kept me sane during this roller coaster is, of course, our community. Serious shout out to everyone who is in the Discord server, right? Because we do have this free educational Discord server where a bunch of us XRP holders and crypto enthusiasts hang on out. We share our own analysis, we crack jokes, and yes, we commiserate on the bad days too. So when I first saw eGrag's $27 call, you bet that I ran to the Discord to see what others were saying. The reactions were priceless. A mix of this was, this is absurd, right? Eye rolls, imagine if it happens, daydreaming, right? And that's kind of the beauty of it. We keep each other grounded while still dreaming big, right? Now, if you haven't joined us there yet, you're missing out on some good conversations and good people. It's like having a support group for crypto addicts in the best way possible. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom out here for a second. What do we do with all of this, right? Are we really on the cusp of an XRP mega rally? Or is this going to be another case of sound and fury, signaling absolutely nothing? Now, here's my take. I think something big is brewing, but I'm also prepared for any outcome. eGrag's analysis gave me a reason to believe again, but I'm not treating it as gospel. It's one possible roadmap. Markets are fickle, of course. Maybe we break above $3.60 next month, and maybe it shoots straight for $7. Maybe we stall at $5, then maybe we only get to $4. Hey, I would take $4 over going back to $1 any day. But maybe, or I should say, or maybe, and we kind of just, have to kind of consider this, maybe these predictions don't pan out at all, and at least in the near term, and we actually just range or drop even further. That is also on the table here. The important thing for me is this. I'm staying in the game, and I didn't ride out years of lows brutal SEC lawsuit drama just to kind of chicken out when things might finally get spicy, right? That's why I kind of got into XRP in the first place. So I have to keep reminding myself why I got into XRP in the first place. And that is the tech, the vision, and the underdog story of taking on the traditional finance system. Those fundamentals, they have not changed. If anything, the landscape is getting more favorable, clearer regulations, more institutional interest in crypto, and XRP's own ecosystem developments. All of that kind of gives a kind of backdrop when the kind of major price movement makes more sense, even if the exact number, $27 or otherwise, is up for debate. But one thing that I know for sure is that the next few months are not going to be boring. Either we get that kind of thrilling breakout and go on an absolute tear, or we face more twists and turns that test our conviction. Either way, I'm going to be here for it, reporting daily, sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly with all of you guys, right? It's honestly an absolute privilege to go through this crazy journey with fellow XRP holders. Like, how many people out there can really understand the mix of despair and excitement that we feel sometimes? Not many, but you all do, right? Whether XRP hits $27 or not, being part of this community is something special. So here's how I see it. Hope for the moon, prepare for the worst, and keep your sanity somewhere in between. If XRP even gets close to that $27 mark someday, you can bet that we're throwing the biggest online party ever. I'm going to be talking in Discord celebrations. Maybe I'll even do a ridiculous live stream where I literally eat my old price charts or something crazy. And if it doesn't happen, well, we're going to keep on analyzing. We're going to keep on learning. And we're going to keep finding the next opportunity. That's the grind and the fun of it. All right. So I've rambled enough here. If you've kind of stuck with me this far, you're seriously awesome. Appreciate that. I'm feeling a lot more optimistic than I was maybe a week ago, and I hope that you are too. But hey, let me know what you think. Are you team $27 or bust, or team be real bro, it ain't happening? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, or join us in our free Discord server. I genuinely want to hear where everyone's head is at. And if you want to kind of follow this wild XRP journey with me, then hit that subscribe button and join the family. Let's ride this out together and see how this story unfolds. And I'll see you all in the next one.